6. Page 6. I will recite this mantra. Okay, before that we recite the page 4. Page 4. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye joda zoge chonam no chanjo bardo dani kyapsu chi age jinso kebe sonam ki dola penjir sanye drupara isho Sanye joda zoge chonam no chanjo bardo dani kyapsu chi age jinso kebe sonam ki dola penjir sanye drupara isho Sanye joda zoge chonam Kanjo bado dane gyapso chi, dage chinso kibe sonam, yola benjir sanje rubara isho. Next page. Om ye dharma etum te Tathagato yavatat desham jayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham Tathagato yavatat desham jayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha Om ye dharma hetu prabhavam hetum desham Tathagato yavatat desham jayo nirodha evam bhati mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Okay. Okay, this morning, where did we leave? Okay. Some of you may be aware that the verse which we recited this morning is actually in this book. How many of you noticed that? This verse, ceasing of afflictions, the ceasing karmic afflictions is nirvana. Karmic afflictions arise from the conceptualization of inappropriate attention, which in turn arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, and the ignorance ceases through the wisdom of emptiness. And did you notice that? It's in this, it's cited in this book several times. Anyone? You've not seen that? Sherino, you've seen that?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Where?
116.
116. Okay, let's look at 116. And where else? It is cited in many places. 116 is the most important, is the direct source, which is the first, the verse number 5, the actual source. And it's also cited in many places. It should be the wheel of life, on page number, it should be on page 330, 330 and 216. Also in 216, page 216 and page 330, it is different place. Is there what you find in different places. So we'll go to the root, which is the 116. 116, verse number 5. Okay, we need to rectify this a little bit at the translation. Okay, are you on page 116? Page 116. Ceasing comes the afflictions, instead of leads to, change it to is nirvana. Change it to is rather than leads to. Remove leads to and make it is a translation. Modification required. Comes the afflictions arise from conceptual thought. These conceptual thought, so that's it. I added the word, you remember what did I add this morning? Conceptualization of inappropriate attention. That should be in bracket. Inappropriate attention. This is not in the root text, but it actually means that. Inappropriate attention. And then these arise from elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, grasping of true existence, or self-grasping ignorance. Elaboration ceases by or into emptiness. Okay, I'll explain this verse. So this, and we see that there are 5 points indicated here. 5 points. First, we need to identify what these 5 points are, and then later on, try to relate to our real life, as to how our miseries arise, how problems arise. And you can see that, and some of them, how we see they're connected as cause and effect. We see that some of them are related from the past life and this life, which can be a little complicated for us, but there are many things, what Nagarjuna taught. This is actually from Nagarjuna's text, very important text. And what Nagarjuna taught, we see that many of them, we can relate them to real life. We see that actually, this is actually happening. The 5 points actually happen within our mind. We can see them, the causally connected in the real life. Okay. 5 points. The 5 points are, number 1, ceasing of, okay, so you can see that these 5 points are actually there in this verse. Ceasing of karma's afflictions is nirvana. What's the opposite of nirvana? Samsara. So samsara is point number 1. Samsara is point number 1. Samsara we'll discuss again. First point number 1 is samsara. So this samsara is the result, the miseries that we go through, miseries that we experience. That's samsara. And that misery, the immediate cause of samsara is contaminated karmas. Because it says, ceasing of karmas and afflictions is nirvana. Which means that the opposite nirvana is created by karma, contaminated karma. If you stop it, then the samsara stops. That is the nirvana. Okay, so immediate cause of samsara is contaminated karmas. And the contaminated karmas, immediate cause of contaminated karma is this morning we said our quantum karmas are triggered by afflictions. Yes. So the samsara immediately causes quantum karmas, which in turn and they are caused by afflictions. And the afflictions are caused by the inappropriate attention. Inappropriate attention. So here it said conceptualization, conceptual thought. So in full we make it conceptualization of inappropriate attention. We just put it as inappropriate attention. Why we put it full form is for us to, when we read this verse, we will understand it. We can relate to this verse clearly. And then the inappropriate attention arises from the elaboration of self-grasping ignorance. We can just say it, elaboration of self-grasping ignorance, or just the self-grasping ignorance. And why elaboration? This is the word used by the author, Nagarjuna. And the why self-grasping ignorance is referred to as the elaboration. By the way, anybody who likes to explain to us what is meant by elaboration from how you understand it in normal usage? Elaboration. Anyone?
Expansion or adding more to.
Expansion, adding more to. Anyone else? Elaboration. Constructions. Anyone else?
Like structure. To create a structure.
Structure, to create a structure.
Oh, to create structures, elaborate, yes.
More details?
More details, yes.
Explaining.
Explaining. Okay, to elaborate. Yeah. Okay, so you said this, please elaborate more. Explain more. Anyone else? Elaboration. Oh, the food is so elaborate. My cheesecake is so elaborate.
Create.
Great. Create is so elaborate. It means varieties, rich, right? Okay, it has many connotations. And later on, if they get some understanding of what is known as emptiness. How many of you have heard the word emptiness philosophy? In a sense, just heard about it. If you have studied it, this is best. If not, at least heard about it. In a sense, emptiness, never heard.
I don't know what it is, sorry.
No, don't worry. I'm not asking, did you understand emptiness? This is not my question. How many of you heard about emptiness? The word emptiness. Emptiness meaning the philosophy of emptiness. Just this word, philosophy of emptiness, or emptiness view. Makes sense? You heard about this label. Okay, how many of you have never heard about this? Okay, which means we all heard this label. But not only you hear this, you study this, you reflect on this, and you get it makes some sense to you. Then this word elaboration will make a lot of sense. Saying, explain yourself in one sentence. And if the person explains you in 10, 100 sentences, right? Don't elaborate too much. You agree? Okay. I would say they don't elaborate too much, just in one sentence. So elaboration has a connotation of extension or just making things numerous, multiply, and so forth. This is a connotation. So there, when you look around, how many things are there? You see only one thing, or innumerable things are there? Innumerable things are there. You're getting it? So these are all elaborations. And it says elaboration ceases by or into emptiness. You're getting it? So in dreams, how many items do you see in the dream? One thing or two things or three things in the dream? Many. So when do they dissolve? When you wake up. They all dissolve, right? They're all created by my mind. instantly all what occur in the dream dissolve. Whereas in the dream, all these come as different entities, as different elaborations. And then they create problem to us. Cheesecake attracts you, cat, makes us feel angry. All these emotions are stirred in the dream by seeing the elaborations. The moment you wake up, all the elaborations in the dream dissolve. And your attachment, aversion in the dream all stops. You're getting it? So this elaboration, this word is extremely important word, and it will make sense to us when you get some sense of emptiness concept. In Tibetan, elaboration means tropa. Tropa in Tibetan. Tropa. T-R-O-P-A. Tropa. Tropa. Huh?
You said it's Tibetan spelling?
No, in English. I just said it. But it's a Tibetan sound in English. You can run Tibetan? Sapata paradatan tropa. In Tibetan, Sapata paradatan tropa. If you write in English, the letters T-R-O-P-A. Tropa. Tibetan word is more tropa, right? Sapata paradatan tropa. So many things. Tropa. Whereas English is very simple. T-R-O-P-A. Tropa. Finish. Okay. Now the point is that, what did I say? How many the points we enumerated? 5. What are they? First one? Samsara. Then second one? Contaminated karmas. Number 3? Afflictions. Number 4? Inappropriate tension. Number 5? Self-grasping ignorance. Okay, these are 5 points. And you just tell me in what this order, the sequence. In what way I put this sequence? Can you guess in what way this sequence is put? What is that? Samsara, contaminated karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance. Look at the sequence. What do you see? Result, and then you identify the immediate cause of the first, which is the next, which is contaminated karmas, and the immediate cause of that is afflictions, and the immediate cause of afflictions is inappropriate attention, and the immediate cause of inappropriate attention is self-grasping ignorance. So this is, we are tracking the causes. This is one of the greatest, one of the greatest, the teachings of the Buddha, identifying the root cause, and then sever the root cause so that the results will stop. Yes? Okay. Okay, by the way, I like to seek your advice first. Before we go deeper into these 5, before I explain these 5 things, I'd like to seek your advice. Anybody who is ready to give me advice? Okay, so for that I have to give you, first of all, I have to give you the background information, and then on that basis, I seek your advice, you have to give me the advice. I live in Delhi. And if you don't know, if you have no clue what Delhi is, summer is very hot and dry. So in summer, in the month of May, June, and then there too I live on third story. What? Delhi. May, June, weather is hot and dry, and I live on the third floor, and then somehow there's a moisture in the house, because of which I have, don't think that is a problem, right? I'm just cooking up a story. And there is somehow the moisture, because of the moisture, I'm having asthma attack. Not really, don't say E, right? I'm just cooking up a story. I have an asthma attack, and I don't want asthma attack. What should I do? Okay, now I see your advice. Raise hands. Raise hands. Raise hands. Okay, the lady there.
Get rid of the moisture.
Get rid of the moisture. Yeah?
Go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor. Number 2 over there, gentleman over there.
Denmark.
Huh?
Move to Denmark.
Move to Denmark. Okay, yes.
Find out if the moisture is the problem of the rest of
Your name?
Mike.
Michael. Okay. Anyone else? More advice? Yes.
Accepting it, then you have it.
Accept it. You have the. So what's the problem? Accept it. Right? Everybody has a problem. It's not only for you. How many hundreds of people they have the same problem? Not only you. You get to accept it. Anyone else? No one. No others. Advice?
Change to other city.
Change?
Change to other city. If you can.
Okay, change to other place.
More dry.
Which country you're from?
Welcome to Mexico.
Mexico. Okay, welcome to Mexico. 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 Yes, I was already in Mexico. It's a very good place. Anyone else? Okay. So basically, some say they move the place. Some say they have to go to doctor. Some say accept it. What a big deal. Right? Okay. Okay. And then what? What are the advice? The lady, what did you say?
Dry up the moisture.
Dry the moisture. How? Open the window.
Yeah, or put some stuff that accumulates the moisture, like there's I have a boat that gets moist, you put a thing in there and it sucks the moisture into the thing.
Oh, that'll be interesting. What is that known as?
Silicone.
Like it's you can use a dehumidifier, but this, in something like a boat where there isn't electricity, I think it's made out of some kind of a carbon, and it's a material that sucks moisture in. And then it's sort of, the way it's designed, it sort of drips the moisture in.
It's quite costly or not costly?
Cheap.
Cheap, like $1.
Probably in India, yeah. Over there, or in Canada, it's maybe $10. Yeah.
So you have to use electricity.
No, it doesn't use electricity.
Then?
Yeah.
It's just a...
Yeah, it's called dry Z. I'll find it for you.
Okay, thank you. Make sure it's not too expensive. And somebody next to you is suggesting dehumidifier. Was that? Very expensive, right? Okay. Michael? So Michael said, don't listen to anybody else. Michael tells me, don't listen to anybody else. Just give me 10 minutes. Can I come to your house? I said, yes, please. He came in and then he was checking everywhere. And then he found that the water pipe line, there's a very tiny, very small crack there. From the crack, if the water is coming out like this, then it's very easy to identify. Because it's a very, very fine line crack. Because we don't notice that there's a crack there. Because of this, gradually it fills the whole thing. The room is filled with the moisture. Right? So he would identify this. Once he identified this, then Michael said that instead of all these costly things, right? Moving to Denmark, right? Moving to Denmark to Mexico, buying dehumidifier, then the coal, whatever. Instead of that, and going to hospital, accept it. Instead of that, then he asked Gishila, just give me $1. Right? With $1, then he go to buy a glue. Glue, very cheap. Then he just put it there, that's the end of the story. Everything finishes. I don't have to go to hospital, I don't have to buy dehumidifier, I don't have to go to Denmark, nothing. It's the problem solved. Because you identify the root of the problem. Root of the problem, you fix it, is very easy to fix. If you don't identify the root of the problem continues. There may be temporary remedy, but the solution, you will never get the lasting solution. The problem will just perpetuate. This is the problem. So therefore, I think you have to root the Buddha's teaching. The one thing which is so unique about the Buddha's teachings is to identify the root of the problem, fix it, and your problem is fixed. Okay. Now going back to the 5 points. To understand what this, first of all, tell me, all of this is from what you've learned. I'm not saying that what you think. First, we have to learn. From what you learn, you try to relate it to your experience. Then gradually it will become your thinking. Then people can ask you, what do you think? Then you can give your thoughts. For the time being, we are learning. So from what we have learned, tell me, what is the root of, what's the immediate cause of the samsara? Samsara means your miseries, stress, anxiety, and all these problems. Your miseries. What's the immediate cause of that? Contaminated karmas. What's the immediate contaminated karmas? Afflictions. What's the immediate cause of afflictions? What's the cause of the inappropriate attention? Okay, good. So these we should have on our fingertips. Now, what do you understand by each one of these? Okay. First, let me give an example. And then we will be able to relate this. Okay, let's say that you are in sleep and you dream of attending a class. And what's the current iPhone? 15, not 16.
15.
Not 16.
16 will come.
Okay. Let's say that okay, in the class, let's say that I picked up something like this, and you look at it and you say, oh, this is mobile phone, and you look at it very carefully. What are you in dream or what? You're in dream. You're getting it? In dream, you're in my class. And then I showed this, and you look at it, you see a mobile. You look at it very carefully, and you see iPhone 16, not 15, 16. You getting it? 16. Wow. Right? Okay. Gisela is very kind. He does not require iPhone 16. Gisela, can we exchange our mobiles? Right? When you say this, and then Carl, where's Carl? Carl? Yes. Carl said, no, I said, I already asked Gisela to exchange his mobile with mine. I already said it, right? And then you said, no, you do not say this. And then you have fist fight. With a fist fight, then the police comes, right? Police car comes. And then both of you are taken to prison, behind bars. And then your poor mother caught up at the office, right? And my daughter is not picking up the phone. What happened? Oh, unfortunately, 2 people went to behind bar, right? No, my daughter went for for retreat, right? Not for prison, right? And then no, something happened. So you just go there and check, see if she's there or if he's there. And the mother comes there and you are in prison, right? So the prison is a pleasant place or unpleasant place? Very unpleasant place. There is samsara. So why you end up in prison? Because of fist fight. You're getting it? Karma. Fist fight is action. Karma. And your mother says, why did you fight? You are a very nice girl, you are a very nice boy. Why did you fight? Why? Because of the anger towards the competitor and attachment to the mobile. Right? So that is what? Affliction. Anger, aversion, and attachment, these two are affliction. So this fight, karma, is because of the affliction. And the mother asks you, why do you feel attached to the mobile? No, mom, you have never seen iPhone 16, right? It's iPhone 16. You exaggerate the quality of the object. You're getting it? You exaggerate the quality of the object. iPhone 16, exaggeration. Then, are you sure it's iPhone 16? Is it a dream mobile or real mobile? And you said, no, it's a real mobile. Is real mobile or dream mobile? Actually, it's a dream mobile. So you exaggerate the object, which is nothing but a dream mobile, as the real mobile. That is the first trigger. Then you exaggerate this mobile as iPhone 16. Exaggeration of the quality. First, exaggeration of the object. Next, exaggeration of the quality of the object. Then what happens? Attachment to the mobile comes. Aversion to your competitor arises. This is, hey, this affliction. With affliction, what happens? You have the fist fight with the competitor. That is contaminated karma. Because of fist fight, you end up in prison. That is samsara. You getting it? Okay. So now going back, we see that the first one is a prison. This is metaphor for samsara. Then fist fight is karma. That's fine. Then the attachment and aversion to a competitor, affliction. That's easy. Now the more complex thing is inappropriate attention. What does it mean by inappropriate attention? This is a technical term. You're getting it? We cannot guess. Say you use the word inappropriate, you use the word attention, so forth, but this word inappropriate attention, in the context of the Buddhist philosophy, this is a very technical term. You cannot guess it. You're getting it? Okay. So it is a very specific meaning. It simply means exaggerating the quality of the object. Exaggerating the quality, exaggerating the characteristic of the object. That is inappropriate attention. Exaggerating the quality or characteristic or attribute of the object. That is inappropriate attention. So this inappropriate attention is exaggerating the quality. It's not exaggerating the object. It is exaggerating the quality of the object. You're getting it? For example, let's say that the dream mobile, you exaggerate it as iPhone 16. iPhone 16 yet to come. You exaggerate that as iPhone 16. Exaggerate the quality of the object. And then the inappropriate attention is misconceiving the object per se. Not the characteristic, but the object per se. Misconceiving the object. Misconceive the object, which means that there's no mobile there, mentally you just exaggerate mobile. Misconceiving the object, and the inappropriate attention is then this object, you exaggerate the quality of that, attribute of that. You're getting it? Okay. So we see that if you don't want to, in the case of this dream, if you don't want to end up in prison, ultimately, what should you have done? Ultimately, what should you have done? Anyone? There's not ultimate, there's immediate. Immediate, you should not have fought. Ultimate. So lastly, Michael, he tracked the course, and he saw that asthma attack is because of the moisture. Because of moisture coming from the pipeline crack. Right? Likewise, ultimately, not the immediate. Immediate, ultimate, these two are different. So, ultimately, what should you have done if you do not want to end up in the prison, in the dream? Okay, the lady over there.
Get to the root of the problem, which is appropriate attention.
That is not the root. It's the second root.
Not pay attention to the telephone.
Yes, the lady there.
I'm sorry.
Lady there.
Understand that is not real.
Understand
that is not real.
Which one?
The mobile phone per se that we are.
The mobile is not real. Oh. How many agree with you? What's your name?
Maho.
Maho, what? How many agree with Maho? To say that you have to, finally, if you don't want to end up in prison, in this case, you have to realize that the mobile that you are seeing, you don't exaggerate that as a mobile. You have to see that this is not a real mobile, right? How do you know that?
Wake up.
Wake up, right? Wake up, wake up. Good. We have to wake up. Okay. So the now waking up, you wake up, all the problems in the dream stops. You agree? You wake up, all the problems, whatever problems, like for example, say that cat, they toppled my cheesecake, right? Or my nasty neighbor, or my husband, problematic wife, problematic children, problematic parents, or whatever, right? The moment you wake up, all these problems stop. So you agree? Right? You agree? Okay. So the point is that from all these examples, we come to know that, okay, so that's for all these, the sequence, and even the prison, this sequence, how many you would say that it makes sense? From number 5 through to number 1. It makes sense in the dream. Reasons? Good. Now our job is trying to relate this to our real life. For example, when you become angry, right? Something wrong happens. So there are some which you have to relate to the past life. That's a different story. It will take a little time. Otherwise, there are many things which we can relate in a real life. Say conflicts between the husband and wife, or whatever, all these conflicts and so forth. We see that you just try to identify how these problems arise. These 5 other things actually, but is responsible for all our problems. Once you identify this more clearly, particularly with the understanding of emptiness, waking up. Emptiness means wake up to know that the dream is empty of being real, right? The girl, they said, your name? Mahu. Okay, what Mahu said, that know that the dream is not real. And your name? Varma. What Varma said is that know that wake up to know that what you are seeing is not the real. Right? Okay, dream cheesecake. Does it exist or not? Dream cheesecake, does it exist or not? The lady over there. The dream cheesecake, does it exist or not? My question is, dream cheesecake, does it exist? My question is very clear. There's no ambiguity there. Dream cheesecake, does it exist or not? No, raise hands. No, raise hands. Yes, raise hands. Yes, raise hands. Okay. So, the dream cheesecake is not a cheesecake, but it is a dream cheesecake. Yes, raise hands. You agree with me? Raise hands. Dream cheesecake is not a cheesecake. It is a dream cheesecake. Raise hands. Although dream cheesecake does not exist as a cheesecake, dream cheesecake does exist as a dream cheesecake. Raise hands. Good. Therefore, it exists. Raise hands. It exists, but it does not exist as a cheesecake. You're getting it? So, dream cheesecake does exist. It doesn't exist as a cheesecake. Seeing there's a cheesecake is a problem. You're getting it? Seeing the dream cheesecake as a dream cheesecake is not an issue, it's not a problem. Seeing the dream cheesecake as a real cheesecake, that's a problem. So the Maho. Okay. So what Maho said is that we should see the things as they say like everything as a dreamlike. Don't see them as a real phenomena. But they do exist. Don't say they don't exist. They do exist, but they don't exist as a real entity. It's a real phenomena as objectively real. You getting it? Okay, don't worry too much about that. That is the main focus of this retreat. How to see things as things do exist, but they don't exist the way they appear to us. You getting it? So in the dream, whatever you dreamt, they exist, but they don't exist as real. Okay. So with this in mind, then the answer is how to solve this problem from the root, right? Saying how to solve the problem. There are two ways of solving the problem. Solving the problem, there are two ways. One is, is there any medical doctors, nurses, medical related? No one? No one? No one. Okay. Say our problems, even medical issues, can be solved in two ways. One is just a symptomatic treatment, where you have a headache and you take paracetamol or you take Tylenol, and in Mexico, what do you take? If you have headache, painkiller, what painkiller do you have? Paracetamol. In Denmark? Same. You're in Denmark? Okay, to Denmark, to Danish. Huh? Okay, he's pulling the legs of Danish. Okay, some the paracetamol, Tylenol, whatever, right? You take the medicine. These medicines are not the what? Not for cure. It is not for lasting. These are not lasting solutions, and this is just for temporary symptomatic. The solution that your fever to come down, the pain come down. That's it. And this is one way of treating things. And the other way of treating things is to really solve the problem from the root and to remove the problem for good. That is the thing. So therefore, what do you want? You want to solve the problems temporarily or from the root? Are you sure? Yeah. From what you learned thus far, this morning and today, if you want to solve the problem from the root, what should you be doing? From what you learned. I'm not saying what you've understood. Right? From what you've learned, what should you be doing if you want to solve the problems from the root? Identify the cause and then finish.
And then somebody to repair it or repair it itself.
Eliminate. Find the antidote.
Huh?
Find the antidote.
What's the antidote?
The opposite.
No, what is the antidote? What antidote are the...
Headache.
Huh?
For a headache.
No. Any problem that you have, if you want to solve this for good, what should you be doing at least from what you've learned this morning and today?
Wake up.
Wake up. This is the answer. You getting it? Wait, what do you mean to wake up? To know the reality as it is. To know the reality as it is. So this is what we should be doing. You're getting it? Okay. So but this is extremely important. With this in mind, I'd like to discuss with you what is known as the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. The 4 seals. SEALS. 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. Okay, these background information would be are very important. With this, then when we go into the text, particularly the text in praise of dependent origination, it will become easy for us and sensible. More importantly, extremely relevant to for ourselves. Okay, the four seals of the Buddha's teachings. 1. All composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. Number 2, all contaminated things are of suffering nature. All composite things are impermanent. Number 2, all contaminated things are of suffering nature.
What's the last words you said there?
All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Number 3, everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Finally, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Let me repeat from the first. All composite things are impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. Number 2, all contaminated things are of suffering nature. Number 3, everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Everything is of the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Finally, transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Okay. For absolute peace, and for how many of you these 4 lines seems quite familiar? You've heard it somewhere. Presents? Heard it somewhere. Where did you hear this? Where did you hear this?
I don't remember when, but
Somewhere we read this, right? Where is somewhere, yes? No. Okay, you saw this somewhere, or you heard it somewhere? Maybe in the dream last night? Right? Of course, before you came here, I did not hear this. But somewhere I heard it, which means maybe last night in the dream. Okay, some people, maybe from this book, they were looking at it, they're not finding it, I know. They're looking at this book and they're not finding it, right? Okay, did you find it? Where is it? Which page number?
7.
Page number 7, okay. Mexico, your name? Oscar. Oscar, page number 7. Oscar is very smart. Oh, this is very familiar somewhere, either here, then he was searching, right? Not only Oscar, there are many of you who are searching this. Okay, page number 7, it says the 4 seals of the Buddha's teachings. Okay. Yes.
more contaminated things.
Very good. I'm going to explain each one of them.
Is there a Sanskrit word for seals?
Mudra. Yeah. Mudra has many connotations. One is hand gestures, seals, both. Yeah. Okay. The 4 seals. Why these 4 teachings are known as the seals? Stamp. Seal. Seals mean sealed. Government sealed this building. Right? Okay. So 2 things to know. Okay, 3 things to know. One is why these 4 teachings are known as seals. Number 2, what are the correlations? What are the links? The first link to the second, to the third, to the fourth. What are the links? And then the meaning of each of the words, each of the lines. Meaning of each of the lines. Okay. What's the first one? Why these are known as the seals, process. Okay. So we are learning this, and finally, whether it makes sense to you, not, it doesn't make sense, it's entirely up to the individual. You're getting it? Finally, you have to decide. Now, I'm just going to share the facts, and then it's you who's going to decide, depending on what level of the understanding, how you're able to relate this to your real life. This same, that just as we say that if a government seals a building, what does it mean by that? Seal the government, it means the building is the final. which means too young to understand it. Anybody else? What is it mean by yes over there? Huh? Okay, you're also young, I see that. The government seals the building, right? Here, nobody can touch it. You're getting it now. This is a complication there in this building, and the government says that okay, don't touch it. Anybody touches it, you'll be in problem. Government seals it. You're getting it? Nobody can enter. Nobody can get out, get in. You are not allowed to touch it. Okay, this is meaning. So these four teachings are known as the seals in ways that anybody who wants to anybody who wants to have a lasting solution for the problems. These four things to be done. So these four things, whether you like it or not, if you want ultimate liberation from miseries, these four things are to be practiced. If you don't practice these four things, we can't do anything. You cannot be liberated. You're getting it? So, it's not about whether you're Buddhist or not Buddhist. Even if you're Buddhist, if you don't practice these four lines, you will not be liberated. It's not just bearing the tag that I'm Buddhist, right? So I'm an exception. No exception. Whether you have labeled Buddhist, non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Anybody who practices these four lines will be liberated. Who does not practice the four lines will not be liberated. So this lie is a metaphor. Metaphorically, these four lines are sealed, saying that if somebody wants to be liberated from miseries for good, then these are the things to be practiced. No exception to anybody. Okay, this is the first point. Next, the meanings of each of the lines, then followed by the links. Okay, what's the first line? All composite things are impermanent. Composite things means that things which are composed, which come together by, say, the composition of parts. For example, like the particles, or with the mind, temporal parts or material parts. Material parts or temporal parts. For example, material parts, this hall is made of parts like what? Concrete, bricks, wood, paint, nails, plastics, and the windows, glasses, and so forth. It is made of multiple parts. Then our mind is also made of parts. Parts like what? Our mind. We cannot see a mind, but we can feel that mind. I'm feeling sad today. I'm feeling happy today. Right? Just to think of the prospect of getting a cheesecake makes me so happy. Right? So there you could feel that, but you cannot see that. You could feel that. Even that mind also is a composite phenomenon. Is made of parts. Like what? Temporal parts. Parts in time. So you say this table or the hall has the east, west, north, south. Our mind does not have these special parts. It doesn't have the directional parts, but it has temporal parts, meaning parts in time. What does it mean by parts in time? Temporal parts. It means that when you say, I'm happy today, today is made of 24 hours. So the first hour mind, second hour mind, third hour mind. Or we say that, the first session here, it was so cold. I felt so cold the first session. First session made of, let's say 1 hour. 1 hour means it's made of 60 minutes. The first minute mind, second minute mind, third minute mind, like this. So we see that the division in time is known as temporal parts or temporal segments. So we see that things which are made of material parts, like the table, the hall, your body, and so forth, this is one. The things made of material parts, and things which are made of temporal parts. So all the material world, physical world, is made of material parts as well as temporal parts. But the mind is made of only temporal parts, not the material parts. Mind does not have the physical matter. How many of you understood it? Raise hands. Good. So that is the meaning of composite phenomena. Anything which is composed of these either material parts or the temporal parts, they should necessarily be impermanent in nature. All composite things are impermanent. You understood it? Now, impermanence, this has two levels of understanding. Impermanence. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence and subtle impermanence. Gross impermanence. Gross impermanence is an impermanent phenomenon whose continuum comes to an end, whose continuum terminates. Let me repeat it. Gross impermanence is impermanent phenomenon whose continuum terminates, comes to an end. Whose continuum, you understand what continuum is? For example, let's say river is a continuum of water. Continuation, whose continuation stops, whose flow stops. For example, 2023 stopped or not stopped? It only stopped. So 2023 lasted for how long? It lasted for 12 days. 12 months. 12 months. Okay, it lasted for 12 months. And then it stops on its own. And our youth gone? How many think that your youth is not gone yet? One. You. Huh?
Depends if it's a Friday or a Monday.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Say that those in their 20s, you have the feeling of I'm in my youth days, right? Or 19 years. In 30s? Yes, of course. Right? 20? Yes. No, 40? What's the problem? I'm young. 50?
Not so young.
Not so young. Okay, some feel that, some say that they are in the 50s, they say that I still feel that I'm like in my 30s. They feel it like this, right? And in the 60s, okay. So this is very important for us to reflect on, very important. And the better would be to, as say, you're in your 20s, if you're in your 20s, or in other words, earlier you recognize this impermanence, better it is, so that you'll not waste your time. And you see that particularly the time that you use, time with respect to all composite things impermanent, all contaminant things are subtle nature, everything is nature, everything is self-existence. Transcendent soul is absolute peace, or transcendent soul is nirvana. And waking up, if you put effort while you're still younger, the better. If you wait till the last minute, and it can be a little complicated. You getting it? Okay. So those of like my age and the little like 40s, I'm in my 50s. So, okay, now we have no hope. He's talking about 20 years. So 20s. No. Even if you are 50, 60, 70, it doesn't matter. Believe it or not, do you agree with me or not? You are the youngest of the lifespan that you are left with. Do you agree with me or not? You are the youngest today of the lifespan that you are left with. You agree or not? If you agree with me, use that. This is youth for you. Use that for your development, for your awakening, for your waking up. This is so important. Okay, so all composite things are impermanent. Impermanent phenomena is of two kinds, gross and subtle. The gross one, what is the gross one? Impermanent phenomenon whose continuum terminates. For example, 2024, our youth, right? By the way, it seems like the youngest one is the 19. Is there anyone who is younger than 19? Okay, is anyone? Okay, 19. Okay, I'll share you even how 19 is so old, right? And you, no way, right? And he said, no way. I'll share you some anecdote. I was in that school here. You know the school? TCD school, where Pierre Chandan's daughter, the little daughter, is in school now. So we had to see from same school. And then I was 12 years old. And I discovered the age of one of my seniors, and he was 16. And I was literally shocked. Old man. You're already 16. You're old. You're getting it? Then I became 16. Then I discovered the age of one of the school teachers, who was 33. It literally, right, blew my mind. One day I will become one like him. 33, very old, right? He went to school. He finished the school. He went to school like me. I'm going now. Went to school. Then finished the school. Went to college. Finished college. Then job. Now 33. One day I will also go. It's so painful. So painful. Then I became 33. Right? I became 33. And 33, 34, first time I was in England, in Cambridge. Anybody from England? Raise hands. 1, 2, 3. Okay. I was first time in Cambridge, there, and this group of people who hosted my stay in Cambridge University. And I discovered that there's one professor who celebrated his 50th birthday. And he was so proudly was explaining to me that before you came 2 days ago, we celebrated my 50th birthday. And to be honest, I thought, what is there to celebrate? 50 years old, it's already half a century gone. What is there to celebrate, right? Deep inside, I felt like this. Now I'm already 56, right? I'm already 56. And when I was in my 40s, late 40s, and the vice chancellor of a university invited me for a meal. And I was there. And he also invited another lady professor. And the lady professor must be in her 70s. I was in my 40s. And the chancellor, he must be introduced to the lady professor that I'm also inviting the new director of Tibet House. And the lady professor knew my predecessor, the director who was in his 70s. And then I showed up. And the lady professor scanned me from the top to bottom several times, scanned me and said, young director. I was already in my 40s, late 40s. And she was seeing me as young. You're getting me? Young director. And she said like 2 times. And suddenly a thought came in her. Young means there's another connotation. That is inexperienced. Right? She corrected, said, no, I mean young in age. Look, so his age is just relative. Really relative. If we keep thinking that I'm now in my 50s, and if I keep looking at 60s and 70s, I'm young. This is deception. If you really want to make your life productive, the best thing is that if you're in your 50s like myself, you look at those in 40s, 30s, wow, they're so lucky. They can be as productive, right? And then, which means you will feel a sense of urgency. I have to use whatever lifespan that I'm left with very productively. If you're in your 30s, don't look at the 40s or 50s. Don't look at us. Rather look at the 20s and the teenagers. They're very fortunate, lucky. I have to use my time very productively. You're getting it? So finally the point is that how to make our life productive. Whatever lifespan that we are left with, how to make it productive is by looking to younger ones. If it makes you more productive, look at the younger one compared with the younger ones. If you compare with the older ones, you feel yourself more productive compared with the older ones. The point is that we should see how to make a life more meaningful. Okay, now the second one. What is the second one? Subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence is impermanence which is marked by momentariness. Impermanence marked by momentariness. Okay, let's say is this gross impermanent or subtle impermanence? Gross impermanence. What makes you think that this is gross impermanent? Because this continuum of this flower will terminate one day. Not one day, just a few days it will disappear. Right? So is this gross impermanent because that the continuum of this will terminate at one point. Okay, what about subtle impermanence? It is not subtle impermanent, but it has subtle impermanence. Okay, how many you are hands? How many you have hands? Raise hands. How many you are hands? Raise hands. You are not hands. You have hands. Likewise, this flower has subtle impermanence. It is not subtle impermanent. It has subtle impermanence because momentarily it's changing. Momentariness is the momentarily it is changing. Yet it is marked by momentariness. So this has subtle impermanence, but it is not subtle impermanent. You're getting it? It is grossly impermanent. Yet it has subtle impermanence. Okay, this is one thing that we need to keep in mind. So with this, in what way this understanding, the first seal is related to liberation from samsara. So we said that these 4 lines are metaphorically sealed to tell us that anybody who wants to be liberated from samsara, we have to practice these 4 lines, right? So these 4 lines should have some relevance to our liberation from miseries. So how is that related? So for that, what we need to know is that we need to really meditate on this, not just intellectually know, but meditate on this. The subtle impermanence, in fact, to a great extent, even physics talks about the subtle impermanence, that the whole physical world is in constant flux of change. Yes? Anybody from physics background? Raise hands. 1. Okay. See, anybody who did physics in your school days? All of us. Good. Physics, elementary, the part of the physics would teach us that the whole physical world is in constant flux of change. Because all physical world is made of electrons, protons, neutrons. They're constantly in movement. You're getting it? So this is what physics tells us, and this is what the Buddha taught. So this is in a way, intellectually we can understand it, but experientially, if you understand it, it's going to be very scary. What did I say? What did I say? If experientially, if you really understand this subtle impermanence, that all composite phenomena, they are in constant flux of change. If you feel that, it's very scary. You're getting it? Very scary. Okay, let's put it like this. And look at the walls around you. Look at the walls around you. They're changing, constantly changing, or not changing? Not changing, very static. And look at the person next to you. They're changing? Not changing, right? Same person, right? Okay. And some of you may be very boring, you may feel so bored to see your family members always the same, right? Actually, it's not saying changing. It's a deception of our eyes. Our eyes are so gross that it cannot see this subtle change happening. All composite phenomena, irrespective of yourself, your body, the house, the outside, everywhere, all composite phenomena, they are momentarily changing. Okay, and how do we meditate on this? Okay, anyone? How can we meditate on the subtle impermanence? Anyone? And this is so important. And this meditation is so important for all of us. You, me, all of us. If we, yes, over there, gentleman over there, your name? Lavi.
Meditation about death.
Oh, meditation on death. Impermanence of death. Yes, this is also something that we need to do. But in some places, they deliberately, they don't want to think about death. It's very scary. But the reality is that we should be a little more courageous to think of, contemplate on the death. Impermanence of death, that will be very helpful for us in the long run. Right? Okay, so how to meditate on impermanence? This one thing is meditation on the impermanence of death.
Letting go of attachment, what we're attached to.
No, so first meditate on impermanence, then this will help us to cut the attachment, not the other way around. Anyone else?
With resilience.
Huh?
Resilience.
Resilience. Resilience meaning?
To adapt ourselves to the circumstance, to the...
Okay, things are changing, so you should have a sense of resilience. Don't worry, things are changing, but...
maybe in English, I don't know the word, but it's like adapting ourselves to the things are happening.
Okay, what are the things happening in the air? Adapt yourself.
Yes.
That is not impermanence. It makes us more happy with samsara. Right? Samsara is changing. Don't worry, adapt yourself. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Watching the mind move from moment to moment with its always changing.
Yes, good. Watching the mind changing. If the mind, say, look at the wall, changing, no, the wall doesn't change, right? Look at your mind, and your mind, if your mind is, okay, I'm disturbed, and then I think of, right, Lisa's question, question so good, happy, unhappy, change. Okay, that's okay, but you reach a certain point where you keep the mind, even the mind remains neutral all the time. So where do you see the change then? Whereas if the focus changes, then we see the mind is changing. But if the focus remains the same, then how can we see the mind changing? Anyone else? The lady girl over there, your name? Shreya, yes.
Free flow of thoughts when you're meditating, just letting thoughts free.
This is more like what Lisa is saying. Your thoughts, with the thoughts, you see the change of the thoughts if the object changes. Say, for example, I think of Shreya, I think of Lisa, I think of Venerable, the object changes, then I can see that my mind is changing. I'm happy, not happy, not happy, neutral. I can change. But if it always remains Shreya all the time, object as Shreya all the time, then I don't see the mind changing. How do you see that? This question. The gentleman here? Yes.
Meditating on sensations like vipassana.
If the sensation remains the same, then?
Well, I didn't say the same for 10 days, it didn't say the same. Maybe never change sensation?
No. I don't mean to say that. For example, say you are changing. Your name?
Joy.
Joya is changing. But when I look at it, I don't see him changing. This is the limitation of my mind, right? Likewise, with a sensation, for example, like, say, the blood flow, dip, 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 dip. This is very prominent. So because of this, when you are very quiet, then you will hear the sound of your own heartbeat. And you can also see the different senses. If you're extremely sharp in your observation, then even the blood flows through your legs, through your ribs, through your neck, or you could feel that. And then correspondingly, the sensations are created. You're getting it? This is created. Yeah, this is there. What else?
Reflecting in everything is changing moment for moment, year for year.
How?
Reflecting for the causes and conditions.
Say it again.
For changing.
No, but let's say this pillar. How do you see that this pillar is changing moment by moment? How?
When you see 20 years later, you can see all.
Okay, 20 years later, you see it old. But it's not changing momentarily, it's changing 20 years later.
Year by year, you see.
Year by year. Very good. You hear Venerable?
What he said, that to see that gross impermanence is only possible because of subtle impermanence.
That is existence. How the gross impermanence exists is because of the existence of subtle impermanence, but how to see the subtle impermanence. Seeing and existence is so different.
But if we project into the future, like 100 years from now, we'll all be dead, then if we work backwards and see that means that there is going to be an end to all our continuums. And so, because of momentary change.
Yes, yes. So your name? Varma. And what Venerable is saying is more same here.
Maybe I can look at the river.
Yes, with the river. How does it help this pillar?
It doesn't help this pillar.
Huh?
But instead of looking at this pillar, I look at the river.
This is what I'm saying. So you look at the river, you see the river changing. That's fine. But finally, all composite things are impermanent. Buddha did not say the river is impermanent. All composite things are impermanent. You should apply this to all composite. How do you apply this to the pillar here? This, in fact, the Tibetan masters, they use this technique. They go to the river. They go to the river, they observe how the flow is happening, and then they get a deep conviction in this, and then they apply this to all other composite phenomena. What he said is true. That the masters, they do that. Okay, over there.
Maybe we think that in physics we learn that atoms keep vibrating and electrons move over time. And even though we can see them, we know that there is change in the material over time. And maybe atoms fall apart slowly.
Okay, so with how the physics will explain that even this pillar is made of atoms, and atoms are constantly in change, constant flow of change. We think about this. Very good, thank you. Okay, so in fact there is one very interesting question asked by one person in Nalanda. Okay, I think it was Kamalachindra. I think it was the Nalanda diploma course. I'm not too sure whether it's not master's course, because there's one lady who said something very interesting about the subtle impermanence. Subtle impermanence, the lady said, what, your name? Tomar? What Thomas said is exactly what one lady said. Seems like she has some physics background. She said that from physics point of view, not all composite phenomena, but the physical composite phenomena, they're impermanent, and they could talk about the very subtle, instantaneous changes, momentary changes in physics, but it does not give us any feeling of urgency. It doesn't give us any feeling of, say, the desire to be liberated and so forth. It doesn't have the religious, or I would say religious, the spiritual connotation. So physicists, elementary, the particle physicists, they know so well that composite phenomena, particularly the physical world, is constantly changing. So this is her question. This is brilliant. So why do we have, as I said earlier, all these 4 lines? They should be related to our the dharma practice, desire to be free from miseries. It should be related to that. So this is interesting thing. So what the Buddha taught is that of all the footprints, the footprint of the elephants is the supreme. Supreme meaning the biggest in those days. Okay, let me say this again. Of all the footprints, the footprint of the elephant is the supreme. Of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is supreme. Let me repeat it. Of all the footprints, the footprint of elephant is supreme, which means that of all the footprints, the elephant footprint is the biggest. Of all the meditations, meditation on impermanence is the supreme. Okay, so what we learned this morning and today is that finally, to remove our miseries, what we should be doing is we should learn how to wake up. Wake up means to see the emptiness of things as objectively real. But here the Buddha is teaching of all the meditation on impermanence is the supreme. So meditation on the waking up comes later, which is the ultimate. Waking up, this ultimate. But impermanence comes before that. But the Buddha said meditation impermanence is supreme. Why? Anyone? Anyone raise hands? Why you think that the Buddha taught that meditation on impermanence is supreme instead of meditation on waking up? The lady over there?
To find out what is permanent.
And you have to say meditation on book is supreme to find out what is not book. Yeah.
Maybe because it cuts away the root of the ignorance.
It's not the root of ignorance. The root of ignorance is the opposite of waking up.
I would say it cuts the root of elaboration.
Okay, it will come later. This is not the root. It doesn't cut the root. You getting it? Yes.
No time.
Oh, what do you mean by no time?
If this is anything is impermanent,
Yes.
sooner or later we stop to exist as we are seeing now. If I translate from the cheesecake to myself, I have no time. Means very soon, unexpected, maybe I will stop to exist. So my time to release myself from samsara and or do the best I can for other sentient beings is the most important.
Oscar, do you mean to say that by meditating on impermanence, you get a sense of urgency?
Yes.
This is what you say. Very good. Okay, let's say that if there's a snake, say 100 meters away from me. If there's a snake 100 meters away from you, you may say that, oh, there's a snake there, would you mind removing the snake? And if the snake is next to you, would you say, there's a snake here? You will say this? You'll not say. What did you do? You'll jump. Why? When you see it far away, sense of urgency is not there. When you see it very nearby, sense of urgency builds up. You getting it? Okay. How many of that experience? Say, how many of you have been to school? Raise hands? All of us. And how many of you sat for some very scary exams? Yes. And then so you prepare for the exams, hard work, prepare for the exams. The last 1 week you learn more, or the first 1 month you learn more, or last 1 week you learn more? Last 1 week you learn more. Why? Because you get a sense of urgency. No time. You're getting it? This is what the Oscar summarizes so beautifully. You get a sense of urgency. So, with the urgency, then whatever you do becomes extremely effective. So therefore, this meditation impermanence is supreme in ways of creating a sense of urgency, where everything becomes so effective, your practice becomes extremely effective. This is what Buddha taught, which Oscar beautifully summarized by saying no time, sense of urgency. This is very important. So, now how do we meditate on this? This is a very important point. We have to learn how to meditate on this. In fact, what the Varma and Venerable two of you said that, okay, let's say that the pillar, look at the pillar and you see this as so static. And at times, it's also advice like what, your name? Vali. What Vali said, that look at the stream. This is so, if beneficial. Look at the stream, how you see the water moving, like this, constantly moving. And then you contemplate, this is how all these are made of atoms, what Tomar said, and then you relate this. Just as this river is a very prominent example, what you're vividly seeing with your eyes, visually seeing this, and then the pillar, you don't see this visually. Through physics, you know that it's made of atoms. So from this, you just keep inferring from the stream to the other things like the pillar and the things which otherwise seem to be so static, and we apply this. That's very important. Now, so these are examples which are so important for us, and today we are so lucky to have this one. I personally feel this very helpful, beneficial, like our mobile, the timer and the stopwatch. You press it and see how the digits move. Just look at it, and this is how my body is moving. This wall is moving. There are the people around me, they move so fast. Because they move so fast, anytime something can go wrong. Something can happen to the breath stops and you die. Anytime. Because you see that it's moving so fast, you see that things are so fragile. Anytime something can go wrong. So, impermanence, with this, the meditation, impermanence of death. So this will come in, and a sense of urgency will build up. Okay, so how do we meditate on this, along with taking the examples and bringing the physics concepts? So let's say that 2024, March, and when we end the retreat, 14th, say the March 14th, the Venerable Kunpenla said that, okay, we will plant a tree in memory of our being together for the retreat. So we plant a tree. We plant what tree? The same, the Bodhi tree. Plant a Bodhi tree there, just a sapling, and then after 10 years we come back. Hey, how many are going to come back after 10 years? Okay, let's say all of us will come back after 10 years. Coming back, you see that there's a tall tree. 10 years ago, there was no tree in this particular, in front of the Gomba. In front of this temple, there's no tree there. And after 10 years coming back, there's a tree, tall tree growing there. We all come with the extra white hair. Right? And Venerable Kumbhela, how come there's a tree here? I remember that there's no tree. Your group planted this tree. Yes? Oh yeah, I remember that. We planted a tree. Now it has shot up to like 10 feet tall. So this 10 feet tall tree, it became 10 feet. Not that the last 9 years and 11 months it was slipping. Right? Oh, tomorrow completes 10 years. I have to, otherwise they are going to come tomorrow. And I have to, go. And then suddenly overnight, 10 feet tall. No. Every year it was growing 1 foot. You agree? Every year it was growing 1 foot. Okay, the first year it grew 1 foot tall, 1 foot tall. And again, it's not that for the last 11 months, like 11 months and 29 days, is sleeping. Oh, tomorrow completes 1 year, so I have to shoot up the 1 foot. No, every month it is growing 1 inch. You agree? Every month. So likewise, every day, 31 days, 30 days, every day is growing. So there's growing means changing. And day whatever growth for 1 day is happening because of 24 hours. 1 hour, first hour, second hour, third hour. Whatever growth 1 hour is because of first minute, second minute, third minute. Whatever growth happening on the 1 minute, that is because of the first second, second, third second. And if you look at the watch, world clock, you see the hand movement of the second moving. This is how this sapling is moving. Tick, 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 tick. Although our eyes cannot see that, actually it's moving at that pace. You're getting it? Not only that, tree, our body is also moving at that pace. Tick, tick. What is this tick, tick? Older, older, older. This is what is happening. Tick, older, tick, older, older, tick, older, tick. This is how it is moving. Tick, 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 tick. And then 1 second is made of 1000 milliseconds. And how does it move? Lisa, how does it move? Right? So, how it moves so fast on the level of the millisecond, our eyes cannot catch it. Even 1 second split into 100 seconds. No, 100 divisions. Even this, our eyes could hardly catch. If you don't believe, just press. Say your mobile, press the timer, press the stopwatch, and see how the digits move. It moves like so fast. And if you keep meditating this, thinking about this more and more, by seeing the reality, in the olden times, people go there in this river, a stream, to see how things are moving. Now we have these, gadgets. You can go to stream, you see the gadgets, press the timer, stopwatch, and see how the dishes move. This is exactly how our body moves, how the house moves, how your near and dear ones move. So, if you are, of course, we can spend like 1 week meditating in permanence. Whole 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, we can meditate in permanence. And if you don't have time, then you can take out like 2 days, 3 days. If possible, to really feel something, to experience it, minimum you require like 1 week, 2 weeks to experience it. In that while, you have to make sure that you cut off yourself from the mundane engagements. When meeting with people, telephone, all this you have to cut. Otherwise, whatever experience you are coming will again be nullified, cancelled by the mundane interactions. So that must be stopped. And then you just keep meditating on like this. How, say, the change that you see in 1 day is because the change that you see in an hour, like this. Something which you can start from, something which you can actually experience. Like, say you have your friends, they have their children who are born, and then you're meeting after 10 years, 15 years, and then suddenly they become so big, right? So these are the real things that you can actually visually see. Or you can visually see, you apply this in your meditation. So this change happens because of the annual change. Change happening in a year by year. Change in the year happens only because the change happening in the month by month, day by day. Don't just jump to atomic level. You're getting it? Atomic level come later. So start from the visible change, then make it shorter. So while you do that, mentally, as I said earlier, make sure that at least you create a very conducive environment for yourself, retreat environment, where all these unnecessary interactions and these things should be cut off. Otherwise, whatever real experience that you get will be just cancelled by these interactions. So with this, then the reality is that all composite things be that you are seeing, hearing, everything is just moves so fast. And if you meditate like this, literally you could feel it, and it's very scary. Intellect is not, it's more than intellectual understanding. So for example, what this lady asked in the question, as a part of the Indian studies, where the physicists, they know that this is more intellectual. When it comes to experiential, it's extremely scary. Extremely scary. And then whatever we are doing seems to be so trivial and so futile, meaningless. This is extremely powerful meditation. With this, then you see that no time. As Oscar said, no time, a sense of urgency will come to us. And then whatever you do of your, waking up meditation, all the four seals, bodhicitta, emptiness, they will all turn out to be extremely productive, very meaningful. This is the meaning of all composite things impermanent. Okay. Now what is next? All contaminated things are suffering nature. So Michael asked, what is contaminated? Okay, so all contaminated things are suffering nature. Now, the first link, how the first is linked to the second. The first seal, how that is linked with the second. What is the first seal? All composite things are impermanent. From this, what we discover is that our bodies move so fast. My bodies move so fast, and others move so fast. Then, when you see things move so fast, what happens to our emotional, say, the feelings, like attachment and so forth? For example, let's say that if you want to start a startup, you want to begin a startup, you need somebody to invest. And then I say, don't worry, I'll invest. And, okay, sure, how much you going to invest? $1 million. $1 million. Are you happy? Very happy, right? Very happy. But I will invest this for 2 days. Then what happens? You can keep the money for 2 days. You're happy, not happy. Initially you're so happy, 2 days, instantly the happiness disappears. Because the duration is too short that there's nothing, I cannot do anything in 2 days. It's too short in duration. So when you see the sense of the subtle impermanence, sense of urgency will come to you that whatever you're doing, it is the time too short that there's nothing worth doing. Something like, okay, planning for a holiday, this, that, and so forth. Rather, I have to do something really, really, really meaningful. We'll be able to prioritize what is really to be done, and what is trivial, we just cut it off. Decision will come to us concretely. So it is like seeing things like somebody giving you like the $1 million, but for 2 days. What should we do in 2 days? It's so too short a duration. I cannot do anything. Likewise, with this impermanence, subtle impermanence, understanding, experiencing this will give you a deep sense of urgency to look for something really, really, really meaningful. All the trivial things that are too trivial, that's just wasting your time. Okay. So with this, it is like, when you really get this feeling, it is like that you are in a train station, and then some unknown person picks you up and throws you into a very fast-moving train. What do you feel, Michael? Somebody picks you up, right, and throws you into a very extremely fast-moving train, express train. What do you feel? So lucky? Then, very scared. Faster the train moves, more the fear. You don't know where this train is taking you, right? And who decides where this train is taking you? Huh? That train driver decides. If the train driver is a mother, lucky, he'll take you to a picnic spot. If the train driver is the terrorist, it'll take you to a slaughterhouse. So the faster the train moves, more the fear, yes? So with this, that when we feel that our bodies move so fast, it's like we are trapped in an extremely fast moving train. Sometimes, say it will be good actually. We try to, just as what Bali said, that looking at the stream, river, watching it and observing how things are changing, the water changes. Likewise, when you go in the car, just listen to the sound of the car. When you move the car at like 80 kilometers, 100 kilometers, 120 kilometers per hour, sometimes keep the window open. Then what do you hear? What sound do you hear? Huh? Wind sound? What, like what? Huh? Hey! Gabor, tell me. What does it sound like?
Like drumming.
Like what? Right? Which means what is that? This is a change. Right? Not remaining static. Not static, but change. So sometimes do that. It's like watching the stream. Do that, and then when I was in France for a short retreat like this, there's one lady who was taking me from Paris to the retreat place, and she was driving almost like 200 kilometers per hour, and it was so scary. You just move like this, instantly the car can go like this. And with this awareness, even the sound is so scary. It's very scary, subtle impermanence. So in the class I said that if you want to understand what subtle impermanence is, go in her car. Go in her car, you get a feeling. Right? And at the same time, don't become like ignorance is bliss. You getting it? You have to know that if the car is moving so fast, any small thing can happen, it can topple very easily. You have to know this, right? Knowing this, then in this car moves so fast, like 20 kilometers per hour. Then, and you hear the sound, this sound is very scary. Knowing that something, a pebble, can actually topple the car and accident and die, finished. Right? So, with this awareness, then real impermanence, sense of urgency will come to you. Is very, so try this. Right? And when you go on the train, particularly I would say India is a huge country, and you can have like 3, 4, 5 days, full 3, 4, 5 days of train ride. You can go. And in the night, train is moving, in the day, train is moving, right? And that used to be when I was younger, in my 20s. I used to take the train a lot, and even at night when you sleep, you hear the sound that the train. What's the sound of the train like this? It simply triggers the feeling of the impermanence. This impermanence is very scary. Okay, so we should be able to learn how to relate this experience, day-to-day experience, with a meditation. All composite is impermanent. Okay. Very scary. So now who decides where this train is taking us? The train driver decides. So if the train driver is your mother, lucky. If the train driver is a terrorist, it'll take you to a slaughterhouse. Very scary. So in our case, we also move so fast. We are trapped in this body of the impermanence. And then in our case, what is the train driver? Our mind. Our mind is the train driver. And even if the train driver is not a terrorist, but if the train driver is under the dictates of the terrorist, right? You can't do anything. So our mind is under the dictate of the two worst terrorist contaminations. You're getting it? Contaminations. Contaminations meaning afflictions, particularly self-grasping ignorance. Contaminations and contaminated means things which are under the influence of the contaminations. So that our mind is under the influence of contamination, under the influence of afflictions, it will only take us to miseries. What's the second seal? All contaminated things are of suffering nature. Where, when the train driven by the given under the influence of the contaminations will only take us to the miseries, suffering. All contaminated things are suffering nature, right? Okay, and our mind is under the sway, under the control, under the influence of the afflictions or not? Yes, right? Under the influence of afflictions like attachment, anger, jealousy, and so forth, all these afflictions, particularly self-grasping ignorance. This ignorance is the root, is the worst is the mastermind of all the afflictions, this ignorance. We are under constant, just pick up something, whatever you have on the table, pick up something and show that to me. Okay, now don't only show that to me, you also look at it yourself. Look at it yourself, and how does it appear to you? Like a dream or as so real, as objectively real? How does it appear to you? Real, objectively real. That is ignorance. That is self-grasping ignorance. And this self-grasping ignorance comes to you when? For 1 hour a day or 24/7, including dream. So this is how our mind is constantly under the dictate of the contaminations. Where our mind is under the dictate of the contaminations, it will only take us to miseries. It will never take us to a picnic spot. Only take us to the miseries, right? What kind of miseries? How many kinds of sufferings are there? How many kinds of suffering are there? How many kinds of suffering are there? 3 kinds of suffering are there. What are they? Suffering, suffering change. Okay, what's the third one? Gabor? Pervasive, conditioned suffering. Okay, we have to know these technical terms. And then our understanding will deepen. You getting it? Our understanding will deepen. We have the potential to understand things deep. One is suffering of suffering. Number 2 is suffering of change. Number 3 is the pervasive, conditioned suffering. And we have to know these technical terms, and also we have to know the meanings. Okay. What do you understand by suffering of suffering? Anyone? Raise hands. Suffering of suffering. What do you mean by suffering of suffering? Yes.
Maybe you have panic attacks. And then,
panic attacks?
Yeah, and then you suffer from, you're not going to have a panic attack, but you suffer of the idea of having a panic attack. So you suffer from your suffering.
Okay, suffering of suffering. Okay, in the new sense, suffering, what do you understand by suffering? Is a illustration will come later. Suffering. What do you understand by suffering in general? Anyone? Huh? Okay, so it is the evident pains. Evident pain. Anything which you identify as a pain, which anybody can identify as pain, is known as suffering of suffering. Any pain which anybody can easily identify them as suffering is known as suffering of suffering. Like headache, like panic attack, like the fear of having the panic attack, even though you may not have it now, but the fear of having the prospect of the panic attack in the future, these are all suffering of suffering. In other words, any pain that easily identify, which anybody can easily identify as suffering is known as suffering. What is the second one? Okay, what do you mean by this? What do you understand by suffering change? Anyone? Raise hands, suffering change. Yes. Clicking, attachment, why?
Because I don't want this to change, it's mine now and I'm scared that it's going to go away. Like not human relationships.
Okay, so you say okay. Anyone else? Huh? Aging. Aging, what is that? Aging is suffering. Is there anybody who likes to have aging, who likes to go through aging? So aging is something where everybody identifies as suffering, right? Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, well, while sitting here, I suffer the suffering of change because then I'm hot, then I'm cold, then I put another layer on, and then...
No, which is suffering? Putting layer on is suffering, or what is suffering? Suffering change.
Feeling warm, and then feeling cold again.
Which one? Combined together, or which one? Feeling warm is suffering change, or feeling cold is suffering change? Which one?
For the moment, cold now.
For the moment, cold is suffering. Suffering change. This is suffering. Right? Because this is suffering which everybody identifies as suffering. Anyone else? What is suffering change? Yes.
Like things we normally think of as happiness,
Ah.
but they keep us in suffering.
Okay, something which we identify as happiness, but in actuality, it only keeps us in samsara. That is suffering. That is suffering change. Why do you call it suffering?
It's not true happiness, and it keeps us in the prison of suffering with other sufferings.
Like
suffering or suffering.
No, it's a suffering change example.
Like cake.
What's the problem with the cake? Tomer, what's the problem with the cake?
Because you want to eat cheesecake, you don't think of impermanence, and then one day you don't have cheesecake when you're very sad.
No, it's not true. Yes, many people, yes, I agree with you. Many people, when they have the cheesecake, next time they expect the cheesecake. If you don't have it, they become very sad. Right? But there are some people who are very smart. When they get the cheesecake, they enjoy. When they don't get it, it's fine. For them, it's not a problem. Right? Anyone else? But what Thomas said is very good. Okay. Yes, over there?
I'm confused about the suffering of change of getting something you want, particularly if it's conducive for liberation. Like, oh yay, I got a spot in this retreat. That's change, right? Like you didn't have a spot, now you have the spot.
Give me the precise example. Which is suffering change?
Well, that's why I'm confused. That is change, but it's not suffering. It's change if my plans are that I don't have this retreat scheduled, and then I fill out the form.
So if the retreat happens, then it's not suffering change.
Right, but it's still change if I wasn't planning on going and then I am able to go.
No, if you plan and if you're able to go and the retreat doesn't change, then it's fine.
Right, but isn't that change happening?
No, this is not change because then you have proper plan, it does not change, and the retreat also actually happen, it's not change. Anyone else? Okay, here.
So if you really like cheesecake, it's the 100 bite of the cheesecake, which is unpleasant.
The first is, how is the cheesecake suffering? Then the next question is, how is the suffering change?
So the first bite is really great.
Yes.
The second is good. The
Yes.
third is good. But then the 50th bite.
Fifth is terrible.
Yeah.
So fifth one don't eat. The first one you eat. When it's good, eat it. Fifth one don't eat it. That's this suffering change. So what's the problem with the first bite? Yes?
It's not true happiness, it's temporal, it's pleasure, we're mixing it with happiness.
So what's the problem?
It's temporal, it's not...
It doesn't matter, it's temporary, but temporary you enjoy and finish. Forget it.
It's temporal, I need it again and again.
No, for many people, yes, what you said is true, but for some it's not true. They know that it's impermanent, right? There's some people who take their first shot, right? You understand what I'm saying? First shot, second shot, right? If you laugh, smile, which means you understood it. Some people are very smart. They take the first shot and they will say, full stop. I don't need it anymore. Some people, they have no control. First shot and then go for second shot, third shot, fourth shot, alcohol. You're getting it? First shot, full stop. These people, for them, is the suffering or not? Suffering change or not? Next day, not necessary. If you get it, good. If I don't get it, it's fine. For them, it's not a problem. No, this is for majority of the people. But there are few exceptions who have a moderation, who knows moderation. When they get it, they enjoy it. They don't get it, it's fine. They forget it. So how is this suffering? Anyone? Yes. How?
Because it's conditioned. Causes
Huh?
You are under causes and conditions. You are under causes and conditions.
Okay, you're creating causes for?
The environment.
For suffering, future suffering. How?
You are under the environment. You are the contaminated animals.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm thinking about certainty and if we want to know like security and certainty, and so change makes us suffer because we don't have that sense of security or certainty.
But as I said earlier, don't forget this. Some people who know, but people who know moderation, right? Say, I just want to have, I'll go for one shot, I don't go for a second shot. They know the moderation. For them, this is not a problem. For those people who don't know the moderation, that's a problem. Okay, here.
But for those who are moderate and stop after one shot, they wait until they can have the next shot. So it's
okay, so
after one, but then they wait until the next situation they can have the next shot. So it's
what's the problem?
Still a samsara.
Yes. So what's the problem? The next time you wait, you get the second shot. What's the problem? Don't make life boring. Oh, there's samsara, there's samsara, there's samsara. Don't make life boring. Life is beautiful. What's the problem? Yes.
Maybe there is actual happiness, but you need to work a lot to get it. Then you think this is happiness, so you don't try to get this actual happiness. So I'm happy I had one bite cheesecake, one bite shot, and tomorrow another one bite cheesecake.
So what is actual happiness?
Maybe love.
Okay, so so I'll have just one shot and let's share. Right? I love you. Share. So you love, you also have the shot. What's the problem? Okay. Yes.
Suffering of change, couldn't that be if, say, my best friend dies?
So, no, that is a pain which everybody identifies as pain. You suffer suffering.
Suffering?
Yes. Because
or is the fear of that happening?
fear is again a pain. Fear is what everybody identifies as suffering. Gentleman over there, your name?
Paul.
Paul, yes.
Surely suffering is a decision.
Suffering is a decision.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
it's a choice. So,
whether you suffer or not depends on whether you're aware of it, for example.
For example, what examples do you have for suffering change?
Well, with samsara, it would appear that we prefer to delude ourselves rather than to accept reality or accept impermanence or accept change.
Can you give an example of suffering change?
Well, I'm on this course. That's an example of.
So what's the problem? How is the suffering change?
Because I'm having to learn and re-examine things which I've not considered, which I was comfortable with before, which now I'm not comfortable with.
Okay, so it makes you change, it makes you suffer?
Well, all change is uncomfortable, at least initially.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Over there.
Maybe it's suffering of change, suffering of not accepting the impermanence of things, so then we want to grasp everything and everything is changing, so we suffer.
So which one? So you said many things. Which one? First, second, third, or total?
Total.
Total. That's the easiest. Even I cannot replicate it now.
The suffering of not accepting that things are in constant change. So we suffer because we cannot.
Okay, suffering not changing, not accepting the constant change. That is suffering change. That is the suffering which everybody identifies as suffering. That's suffering. Okay. So let's say that suffering change. In the first place, examples. Examples very simple. All mundane happiness is suffering change. Right? All mundane happiness is suffering change. What Thomas said and what many others said. All mundane happiness is suffering change. Or also known as all contaminated suffering is contaminated happiness is suffering change. There is uncontaminated happiness. Uncontaminated happiness, which is the last point. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Nirvana, that is uncontaminated happiness. So, the contaminated happiness or the mundane happiness, they all fall under the category of suffering change. So for that we need to know two things. How the contaminated happiness are suffering in the first place. Then why is it known as suffering change too? You're getting it? Two questions. First, how are they suffering? They're suffering because they are like baits. Baits. What is bait? What is bait? Anyone?
Traps.
Traps, yes. Bait. For example, the bait to catch the fish. Bait to catch the fish. The bait should be delicious or not delicious? For the fish. You put a rotten food, no, you could not catch any fish. Right? So you put delicious food there. It should be delicious. It should be happiness. And then behind that is the hook. You're getting it? Behind that is the hook. So bait is a beautiful word. It connotes both the sides. Suffering and the happiness. Happiness because it is delicious. Otherwise it's not a bait. And then it is suffering because there is a hook inside. Right? Bait is two things. One delicious and it is a hook both. So all the mundane happiness, they are like the bait. How they are like the bait? For example, what about the person, the extreme example that I gave? Someone who knows moderation. Who knows moderation? The person says, I don't want to go for the second shot. I like to go for the first shot. Just one shot, that's full stop. Right? Even the desire for the first shot is there. Desire for the first shot. So that desire, that first shot becomes the bait. How bait? Let me give you this example is extremely important for us. Let's say that two prisoners are there. And the prisoner A and prisoner B. So these two prisoners are to be executed after 1 year. Which means that the prison guards, they should keep the two prisoners intact for 1 year. You agree? Because the prison guards should hand over the prisoners back to the executioners after 1 year. So, first prisoner A, prison A and prison guard A. Prisoner B, prison B, prison guard B. Prisoner A, prison guard A, great, okay, so I have to take care of you. You meaning prisoner A, I have to take care of you. Okay, so this is your place. Enjoy. And he creates a swimming pool for you in the prison. And he brought Starbucks. And he brought KFC. Right? Garden. Wow. And once in a while he comes and, hello, how are you? Right? And you seem to be not happy today. Don't be sad. Let's go for a cup of coffee in Starbucks. You go there, chat, how are you? Right? And prison guard B, sees the prisoner B, slaps the prisoner B, scold, abuse, make the work so hard. Then after completion of 1 year, the two prisoners should be produced on the spot where the execution is happening. And one prisoner has already escaped. Only one is left. One has escaped. Of the two prisoners, what would you guess? Which of the two you think, if someone has escaped, which do you think is the most likely that you can guess to be escaped? A or the B? Why B? Yes, B is constantly reminded that you are in the prison. You are in the prison. Prisoner guard slaps you, scolds you, abuse you. You're constantly being reminded that you are in prison. You are in prison. You are in prison. Prisoner A, he forgot that he was in prison. Right? And when will he remember that he's in prison? When it's produced in front of the gallows. Right? Then he remembers, I was a prisoner. Then he feels so angry towards something. Angry towards swimming pool. Angry towards the Starbucks. Because these trapped him there. Otherwise, why the other person already escaped? Because of constant reminder that you're in prison. You're not in a holiday picnic spot. Right? So when he was deceived by the bait like swimming pool, Starbucks, KFC in the prison. So now what he enjoyed earlier as happiness is now he realized that these are actually the bait. Bait is nice or not nice? No, bait to trap you. Bait to trap you, not the fish, trap you. Not nice, right? Trap fish is nice. Trap you is not nice. This is how we have to understand it. Therefore, suffering change, all mundane happiness is suffering change. It's suffering in the first place because it's a bait to trap us in the prison of samsara. You getting it? Okay. And why it is known as suffering change? That's easy. Because what you experience as happiness, and if you are overexposed to this, it can change into misery, suffering. There's no suffering of, for example, like what Shindara said, that how many like cheesecake? Raise hands. Michael, cheesecake? Yes. Okay. So first part of cheesecake, momos. How many like momos? Raise hands. Okay, more than the cheesecakes. Okay. So tomorrow I'll give you momos, right? So happy. So you have whole one container with 50 momos. First momo delicious, good. Second momo, third momo, 10, 15, okay, 20. No, all these 50 are for you. You have to eat it, right? Then 30th one, you puke. You're getting it? Okay, which is more delicious? First one or the 30th one? First one is more delicious. Keep it last. Keep it last, right? No, there's no difference whether you keep it last, we keep it first. It's the same momo, but the very nature of that is suffering, right? It deceives us in the first place to feel that it's delicious. And the real nature of this will be manifested when you keep it last. Then it will manifest its true nature that is not delicious. You getting this? This is known as suffering. And it will manifest its true nature, true color, suffering, when you are overexposed to this. So that it changes from what we see as happiness to suffering eventually. That is known as suffering change. Okay, what is next? Pervasive conditioned suffering. This we'll do tomorrow. Okay, we'll stop here. Page 50, television player. Sorry, page 52. Page 52. And for your information, all these what we are studying is more we are studying very quickly. And these are being studied more in detail into these courses. For the time being, this course is not available. A 5 years course is not available. And this one, which is NDC 4, so next is NDC 5. NDC Nalanda Diploma Course Batch 5 will be introduced in the month of, most likely in August. So if you are interested to learn these concepts in more detail, so this green brochure is for you, and for long run, this brown brochure, you can, if you're interested, you can join for this is not a master's course, 5 years course. The third batch, you can join only the third batch, not the second batch is the ongoing now. Okay, so these are available. Where are the brochures? Over there, please help yourself. You take it for your reference, and all the topics are also mentioned there. What topics are covered under this? Just take. You can take all the three for your information. Okay. We'll do the introduction prayer, page 52. I dedicate the merit thus gathered to trust realization that is in the prayers of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas for 3 times, and to the upholding the doctrine of scripture and insight. May in all lives, through the force of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path, renunciation, bodhicitta, perfectly in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I've amassed, from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds with my planted ignorance. Prostrations. Announcement.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay, yes. The plan is that, because that this morning we created the explanations that these things are done more in detail. So tomorrow and after tomorrow, for 2 days, we'll do the morning session the way we did today. We'll do the same thing, more detail, like 2 hours, tomorrow and after tomorrow. And the next 2 days, we'll keep a short, make the shorter one, 6:45 to 7:30. Yes. And then we will announce when we will do the more detailed one, because that I can see that the attendees, you are very serious. I can see that this time you're very serious with your. I can see that in this course you came, which means you are serious. Yeah, I can see that. So because of which, and those of you who have health issues, you cannot, get up too early and so forth, you're exempted. So why we're doing this is primarily, even for me, I really need to have my personal time for my personal practice, but seeing that you're very serious, I'll be happy to spend more time with you, the morning sessions, so that you will learn. So today what we did not do the complete form. So tomorrow we'll try to do the complete form, and then you will know how to design the daily practice. And those of you who would like to do this, you will then have an idea as to how to design your daily practice throughout life. Okay. Okay, those of us from NDC, the NDC meaning Nalanda's the diploma course, and those of you who are we have the class today in my room, and those of you from NDC, I don't think there are much. Anyone? NDC, only 1, 2. So those of you who are interested, you can join. If there are more people, then we can do it here, because I can see that most of you are new. There are only a few people who are doing this course. So if it is just 2 or 3, can come to my place for that at 6 o'clock. Yeah. Okay.
Here, can I hold you for 1 second, because we have to clarify about discussion group tonight. Yeah, so those people who want to have a discussion group tonight is on your schedule, right? From 8 to 9. I think you're all tired, no? Getting up at 5:15. Maybe 1 hour of dinner is enough. I mean, it's totally up to you. You can have a discussion group from 8 to 9. I won't be there. But it will be dark and cold. Who's interested in the discussion group after dinner? And then maybe